Hey there, this is Lady Wisdom with Starting Over. Sometimes part of the journey of life is starting over. Yes, it can sound discouraging, it can sound depressing, but life happens. Finances, health, things that get in the way, obstacles, but you can pick up the pieces, you can start over, keep moving forward, stay focused, you will reach your destiny. Check me out, visit my website, paulagvoice.com, and embrace the journey. Well, hello there, and greetings to all of you who are viewing or listening from around the world. I am your host, Paula G, and welcome to my journey with Paula G, where we are juggling this journey called life while we're walking in the gifts and the talents that God has given us. I'm so grateful for each and every one of you, whom I fondly call my journey embracers, because you are juggling this journey called life while you're walking in your gifts and talents as well. And for those of you who are joining us for the first time, welcome. We appreciate you being with us. Those of you who continue to tune in, thank you so much, because you have so many options. And for you to think it not robbery to spend this time with us is truly, truly appreciated. We really appreciate you very much, as well as our underwriters. Without your underwriting support, we would not be able to provide this programming. So we thank each and every one of you. And if you have a business product or service, you're looking to gain exposure for that business product or service, you can reach out to us at jerryvoicelive@gmail.com or paul@paulagvoice.com. Put underwriting opportunities in the subject line, and we will be sure to follow up with you as well. Also, make sure you stay connected across all platforms. Paula G Voice, my website is paulagvoice.com, and make sure you hit that like, that share, that subscribe so we can all stay connected. And that's what I want to talk with you all about today, especially my baby boomers. That's the term fondly given to those that of us who were born between, was it 19? I forget the start. I got to look at that again. But I think the last year was 1959. I think I just scooted I just scooted in with that group there. But the world has changed so much since we were youngins. And we are in the day and age of technology. And technology is constantly changing. And, we find ourselves having to change with it to a certain degree in order to be able to function. Now your doctor's appointments and a lot of the appointments that you make are done online. A lot of the meetings are virtual, or even your medical and your doctor appointments are virtual. So we're having to learn to navigate the computers, which are constantly changing, the different styles, the different models, the different types. So, learning to navigate computers, our phones, our cell phones are constantly being upgraded and changed. Once you get used to one, you turn around and it's been upgraded to another model, and you're just finding yourself overwhelmed with all of these changes and all this technology. In our day, life was a bit simpler. You had three channels on the television. You might have only had one television in the house, and daddy was in the house. You pretty much watched what daddy wanted to watch, except when daddy wasn't there. The telephone, you had a cord. You couldn't walk all over the place, talk in the car, all of that stuff. You had the cord. You had to, talk on the telephone, and you could only go but so far, because that cord, that little coily cord, that rubbery coily cord, it would only stretch so far. If you were fortunate to have a long one, you might be able to travel around, a little bit in the house. But if you had a short one, you just had to kind of sit there and talk on the phone. And I think back now, if I had to do that now, oh my gosh, because I'm so used to multitasking now. I probably shouldn't say that, but I'm so used to multitasking now when I'm on the phone, that if I had to like stay in one place and talk to someone, that might be a bit of a challenge. But times have changed. We can do pretty much anything on our phones. Our phones are like mini computers. The same thing that you can do on your computer, you can do on your phone. And we have all of these other platforms that we're looking at, our social media platforms, our live streaming platforms. your platforms such as your Instagram and Facebook and LinkedIn, all of these different YouTube, platforms we utilize on a daily and regular basis to communicate, with each other on some level or another, or to gain some sort of knowledge. And I recall when Facebook first came out, and it was all the rage, and the kids were on it. And I can remember working back in the school system. And when it first came out, the kids were on it, and they had the little nicknames and so forth. And they were just, fascinated by this new tool that they had. And there were pros and there were cons. Pros, of course, the friendships and the connections and, sharing of information. But then the cons, because, they would start kind of going at each other, kind of fighting virtually, if you will. And then sometimes the conflict would wind up in the schoolyard, because they start this stuff on this platform, and then they would wind up causing problems in the schoolyard. So as time evolved, moms and dads started kind of getting on, because you kind of wanted to see what your kids were doing and so forth. And moms and dads and some more adults started getting on, started getting familiar with how to utilize it, and started I know I did it, started sending friend requests to their kids. Once I figured out, how to get on there and how to build a profile and my username, excuse me, and my username and so forth, I thought I was doing something. And, I remember sending a friend request to my daughter. It took her forever to accept it. It took a very long time to accept it, but she finally did. So then you had the season where you had the parents were on, and then the young people were on. But then you started to slowly see the young people started disappearing. Like, where are the kids going? The kids aren't on there anymore. Well, the kids left because all of the adults were getting on it, because they were finding it user friendly. They were figuring out how to utilize it. So the kids left and went to, I don't remember what platform it was, but they went to some other platform. And fast forward now, my gosh, almost, oh, 15 years later, don't quote me on that number, but maybe 15, might be more than that, years later, we find that that particular platform is utilized mostly by adults, grown folks. And the kids have since gone on to other platforms and have changed from one to another. And I don't even know where I can't even tell you about that, because I don't know what platform they're on. But um, as with anything and everything, it has its pros and cons. It's all in how you utilize it and so forth. And many of us utilize it to share information. We're happy when we have new grandbabies, or something happens in the family, and people will post. And then there's some that are just, I just don't want to fool with it at all, and it's just too hard, it's too difficult. But in the times that we are in, and as things are evolving, we need to consider evolving with those things as well. You know, um, you have these other platforms, the IG platform, the Instagram platform that has come about, and a lot of them pretty much work the same way. You go on, you create your profile, you put in the information that you want, and you can post pictures or sayings or things of that nature. And what I would always tell people is, think of it as, whatever information that you're putting up, I tell them, think of it as a billboard. You're putting your info, like, if I just had a new grandbaby. If you don't mind putting that on a billboard, you can post it on social media. So when you start thinking about, from the context of, if I wouldn't, or if I didn't want to put it on a billboard, I wouldn't put it on my social media. I think that's the biggest thing, because people think, oh, everybody know my business and everybody know my information. They only know what you post. They only know what you put what you put out there or what you put on. So I'm just using this as an example to encourage, my baby boomer brothers and sisters who may be, fighting tooth and nail, and I'm not condoning or um, pushing any particular platform or validating, confirming, authorizing, endorsing. That's the word I was looking for. I'm not endorsing any platform or anything of the nature. I'm simply suggesting that in this day and age, this ever-changing day and age, excuse me, of technology, that we have to begin to embrace it on some level and utilize it in the manner that we're comfortable. We're going to take a break. When we come back, I'm going to continue this conversation, the new wave technology. If you're just tuning in, I'm your host, Paula G. This is My Journey with Paula G, and we'll be back in a moment. Hey, family, this is Lady Wisdom. Do you ever find yourself so focused on your problem that you have difficulty coming up with a solution? Problems are going to come in life, and it's not so much the problem itself, it's how we respond and how we react to that problem in our life. So I challenge you, the next time you have a problem, focus on the solution so you can get past that problem. This is Lady Wisdom, and make sure you stay connected with the TV talk show, My Journey with Paula G. Until then, embrace the journey. Welcome back to My Journey with Paula G, where we are juggling this journey called life while we're walking in the gifts and the talents that God has given us. I am your host, and I want you and encourage you to stay connected. Hit that like button, that share button, that subscribe button. Join our mailing list so we can stay connected. I am Paula G Voice across all social media platforms. And my website is paulagvoice.com. You can go there and see my various journeys as well. I also want to thank our underwriters. Without your support, we wouldn't be able to do this. So we appreciate you. And if you're interested in becoming an underwriter, you can email jerryroycelive@gmail.com or Paula at paulagvoice.com. Put underwriting opportunities in the subject line so we can follow up with you. All right, before the break, we were talking, and I was talking in general, but probably mainly to my baby boomer population. And we were talking about technology and the many changes that have taken place since, our younger days of a telephone with a telephone cord, and, you couldn't go all over the place and in your car and listen to music and do work and create documents and all kinds of things on your phone. Your phone was not a mini computer. It was just that, a phone. And, a lot of times I hear, some of my peers saying, I don't need all that stuff on my phone. I just want to talk on my phone, which of course you certainly can do, but, the technological changes that have occurred, your internet access is pretty much, standard on your phone, and anything that you can do on your computer, for the most part, you usually can do on your phone. It might be a little different. The positioning of where you click and all that or tap might be a little different, but you can basically do the same thing on your computer, on your phone, that you can on your computer. And some people, they don't even use a computer anymore. They strictly use the phone. I personally like to be able to sit down at a computer sometimes and, do whatever work I'm doing, especially if I'm typing out documents or I'm writing a blog or something at that nature. So, it depends on your comfort level, whether you still choose to use, some sort of computer, whether it's a laptop, or laptop PC or a desktop. It's certainly up to you. But we were talking before the break about, the different social media. And I'm not endorsing anything. I'm just merely kind of giving you all a technology 101 to help you kind of, learn how to navigate some of these things, because some of you probably, maybe don't have a lot of communication with certain family members. And, sometimes it is a nice way to connect. I have connected with people that I had lost contact with over the years, and we have connected and actually have met in person as a result. And don't get me wrong, like I said, with anything, there are pros and cons to everything. There are challenges, so you do have to be careful with people that you connect with and what you click on. And if you're not familiar, don't fool with it. There's a way that you can block or delete all of those sorts of things. You definitely want to implement if there's something that you're not comfortable with. There's settings that you can set, to kind of filter any inappropriate language or anything that you deem might be inappropriate. you know um, other users that you can block. So there are those filters that you can put in place if you have concerns about that. But again, I'm not endorsing any particular social media. I'm just merely kind of helping you to become familiar with these tools, as it may be a way for you to connect, with others and with loved ones. And I want to tell you a quick story. So I started doing radio podcast back in, oh gosh, at the time of this particular recording, it's almost 10 years ago. And all of this technology and the radio broadcasting, the podcasting, all of that was pretty, fairly new. And I began interviewing people that I never thought I would have the opportunity to interview. It opened that door for me, and I was very grateful, very appreciative. And along that journey, I met a young lady who was a faith-based recording artist out of England. And she was on my radio show, the very first show I had, the Paula G show. And then she was on the radio shows that I co-hosted with Jerry Voice Live. Shout out to Jerry Voice Live, our producer. Make sure you check out the Weekend Channel. And she was a guest, and I co-hosted one of the shows with him. And she was a guest, and I interviewed her there. I've also interviewed her here on my journey with Paula G. So over the course of the years, we've communicated, online and offline. We've exchanged emails and so forth, but we met on social media. Fast forward, how many years later? Oh gosh, I guess maybe at least, no, maybe five. Okay, maybe 5 years later, I had the opportunity to go to London because some of my family live in the UK. So I had the opportunity to go. So I reached out to her and told her where I'd be and when I'd be there and so forth. And we met up in London. Y'all, as they say in the South, let me tell you, when we saw each other at the train station, because she met me at the train station, we were so full of joy about meeting each other personally for the first time. We were screaming and hugging and crying. We were both trying to talk at the same time and couldn't understand what either one of us was saying. And people, the British are looking at us like, what is wrong with these two ladies standing here screaming and hollering and cussing? I mean, not cussing, screaming and hollering and crying and, um, you know, um, calling out each other's names. And she's calling, her name was Louisa, she's calling me Paula. I'm calling Louisa, Louisa. And we're just, oh, we're holding each other and cuddling each other. It was such a joyous occasion. And we met on social media. And that was the first time we met in person. So we did a live. We got on one of the platforms. We did a live, and we were saying this is the first time we've met, and this is one of the good things about utilizing a social media platform. So it was just a really, really wonderful, wonderful experience. But generally, when you go on these different platforms, you have, as I mentioned before, the Facebook, which is basically a social connection. You can connect with friends, you can connect with family, you can block who you don't want to deal with. Again, that's how I met my friend Louisa. Then there's the Instagram. You can share videos, you can share photos, you can share stories, things of that nature. All of these things I had to kind of educate myself too. I had to kind of figure out how to get on the platforms, how to utilize them. I don't utilize them, elaborately like, some may do, but just enough to stay connected with friends and family and loved ones and make new connections with people in which we have common interest. There's another that's called LinkedIn, and I guess I'm not endorsing any of them, just kind of helping you all to familiarize yourself. That one you generally are looking at if you have a business or product or service and it's utilized as a social media platform for businesses, products, services that people may want to exchange and share, but it works the same as some of the others as well. And then you have the YouTube platform, which was just an idea that somebody had. We talk about walking in our gifts and walking in our talents, just an idea that someone had about sharing videos and how you can like, and all of these, you can like, you can share, you can, subscribe, and there might be different channels of information that may be of interest to you, or you can put in the search bar if you don't know, how do I bake a sweet potato pie? You can put that in the search bar, and perhaps a video or something will come up, will help you to assist you with that. So if there's anything that you are wanting to do or desire to do and you don't know how to do, you can go on there and put it in the search, and something will come up that will help you. It's a good resource. So I just encourage each and every one of you to not be afraid to utilize these platforms, to stay connected, to stay current as we juggle this journey called life. Thank you so much. We've come to the end of our show. Thank you so much for joining us. Remember, the greatest conversation you will ever have is the one that takes place in between your ears. What are you speaking to yourself? Is God a part of that conversation? And are you listening to his still small voice? Remember, I am Paula G Voice across all platforms. Stay connected and let's embrace the journey.
Your name on high, and I'll give you praise. Glory, glory.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
I lift
your name on high, and I'll give you praise.
You are holy.
You are holy.
So holy. And I lift your name.
Lift your name on high, and I'll give you praise. You are holy.
So holy.
You are holy.
And I lift
your name on high, and I'll give you praise.
You are all that I need.
You are all that I need.
My everything.
My everything.
And you,
I
live and I move and have my being. I come before I kneel at your throne.
And I'll give you praise.
I come before you. I kneel at your throne.
And I'll give you praise.
Because of you, Lord, I have my being, and you are my peace, love, comforter, provider, my strong tower, healer, protector. You cover me. You are peace, love, comforter, provider, my strong tower, healer, protector. You cover me. You are peace, love, comforter, provider, my strong tower, healer.
Family, this is Paula G, aka Lady Wisdom, host of My Journey with Paula G. And I just want to share with you all that we are so excited because our reach is expanding. We are now presently in the Brooklyn, New York area, the Atlanta, Georgia area, the DMV, and we are growing. So if you're looking for exposure for your business, product, or service, you can reach out to jerryvoicelive@gmail.com or Paula at paulagvoice.com. Put underwriting opportunities in the subject line, and we'll be sure to follow up with you as we all continue to spread love, spread the word, and encourage each and every one of you to juggle this journey called life while we're walking in the gifts and the talents that God has given us. Until next time, embrace the journey.